Hello everybody and welcome to the GMS Magazine channel. I am Paco Garcia, your host, and this is the RPG A Day 2021 edition, an initiative that was started by Dave Chapman and by which throughout the month of August we speak about role-playing games every single day using one of their prompts. Today's prompt was meant to be Throne, but I didn't really have anything to say about Thrones, so I used one of the secondary ones instead, Community. You would expect that community is something very ingrained within role-playing games, because at the end of the day we are within a very social and community-driven hobby. And yet, over the last few years we have seen how this community has been more and more fragmented, where groupuscules, little groups, have been created, defined and organized, and where the entry has been really hard, really hard. Now, for me, community is a very important thing, even though I live in a country where there's no community. There just isn't. It is a horrific mess where it's incredibly difficult to navigate the everyday politics of how you're meant to behave or what you're meant to do, and if you are, because it's so small and everybody knows everybody, if you fall from grace, then that is it forever and you may do so for whatever reason. So it's a community, it's just a gathering of people. I don't consider it as community that I've completely detached myself from, because it's just not worth it. It's just not worth my time. However, I've seen how in the UK, in the US, and in English-speaking countries, it has become more and more fragmented. That has been influenced by social media. Not because it's made things worse. I don't believe that social media has made things worse. It's just made things more prevalent. The problems that we are experiencing today, regardless of what is it that you consider to be a problem, they were already there. It was just harder to see them because you didn't have enough people close enough to you for that to be an issue, and because we made arrangements and concessions to put up with issues that nowadays we have decided that no, I don't want to deal with that anymore. So I think community is evolving. I think the RPG community is changing. I think that we are losing some of that community. And when I say losing, what I mean is that they're just becoming further and further away. And I am going to say something controversial here. I think that's a good thing. I think, seriously, that is exactly what we need. Simple as that. There are a number of people that I don't want near me. I just don't want to play with them. I don't want them at my table. I don't want them in my Twitter feed. I don't want them in Facebook. I don't want them in Reddit. I don't want them in Instagram. I don't want them anywhere. And there's some people who don't want me anywhere. And you know what? The feeling is mutual. That's cool. So they can stay there where they are, and I will stay here where I am. And as long as they don't come to bug me, I will not go to bug them unless, they say something that they need to be bugged for. Quite frankly, I think that's a good thing. We've always done this. And yeah, I know what you're going to say, that, we were all bullied at school, and RPGs were, you know what? No, it doesn't work like that. Yes, we were all bullied at school. And absolutely, yes, we have all felt abuse, mockery, and so on and so forth, because we were nerds and we found comfort in being with other players, because we suffered the same kind of situation. We were in the same place, on the same boat. But that doesn't mean that suddenly we are without problems. That doesn't mean that we created our own community and that community has to be closed and is inflexible. It doesn't have to be like that. I think about the role-playing game community as I think about an amoeba. That it moves, it shapes, it changes, it expands its pseudopods, and it absorbs new things, new people, because they eat them. And I don't think we should eat other gamers, but we should attract them and bring them onto our fray. But you cannot do that by means of intolerance and inflexibility. We need to be more flexible. So I don't mind if there is a D&D community that stays further away from the indie community. What I mind is if those communities, when they collide, they clash. That is the problem. The problem is that they clash. I'd rather that they see those two communities, and I'm just mentioning those two as I could be mentioning any other. Okay, I could be mentioning the OSR, I could be mentioning the Pathfinder, I could be mentioning absolutely anything. What I would love to see is how when those communities come together, they actually join and blend, and then they can come out again and be exactly the same that they are without losing their own identity. That, I think, is the kind of communities that I would like to see. And then, of course, there are the communities that will support the, stupid new TSR shit that happened a couple of months ago. And I don't want those are the ones I don't want to see anywhere near me. I don't want anywhere near me people who think that trans people are disgusting. I don't want anywhere near me people who think that role-playing games should be just for men. I don't want near me anywhere who thinks that women don't have what it takes to play role-playing games. I don't want near me people who don't want to have disabilities in their games, that they don't want to cater for people with disabilities. I don't want people like that, but not just in my games, but in my life. That is what we need to understand the difference of. It's not just that we don't want those communities close to us, it's that we don't want those people close to us. Like, at all. It's just go away forever. But community is something that it doesn't matter what we do, it doesn't matter what we think, it's always going to be a necessary part of our hobby. Because if you want your game to succeed, you need a community of people behind it. There's no way around that. It might be bigger, it might be smaller, but you need a community of people. And whether you make it in real life, or whether you make it in social media, that depends on what your medium is, where you are, and all sorts of things. But let's not think that social medias make things worse. No, social medias make things more prevalent. Are they harder to deal with? Sometimes. But let's not kid ourselves. Communities are being created and are disappearing all the time, and the fact that that is happening to us, it means that we are changing. Change means evolution, and evolution means survival. And that's the way, hopefully, is going to pan out for the best for everyone. Hopefully. I don't know. We'll see. I'll talk to you tomorrow.